I'm not going to belabor the point because I've already like hit my red line on my negative quota for this week's episode. But this Lord of the Rings anime prequel with the Rohirrim, which by the way, King Theoden, my favorite Lord of the Rings character, and I love the people of the Riddermark, the writers of Rohan, sounds awful, and it just. As I have been saying, they are coming piece by piece by piece for things that were once good, and they're coming to just water them down, co-opt them, pervert them, and make them not just lesser quality. A prequel anime for Lord of the Rings. First of all, I doubt it's this is them sneakily trying to get their foot in the door with anime as well, which is, now that Lord of the Rings is toppling, the last bastion of good quality nerdy entertainment. That's all I really have to say about that.
They're coming for everything that you love,
just
man.
Circle the wagons. I mean, it's too late.
What
pretty much?
What specifically
get a Hail Mary.
you?
We need a Commander Shepard to take down these Hollywood Reapers and take the power back and stop the destruction of all these fandoms and properties that we love.
What bothers you about them doing an anime related to Lord of the Rings?
It's a prequel based on no substance. There are, I think even in the description of it, it's like that Tolkien talked about certain things in the appendices, but there's no like structured story for them to go off of, which I don't know about you. I don't trust those people in Hollywood to invent their own story that would be true to Tolkien's vision in an anime prequel that has just no business being made. Look, Peter Jackson, who earned so much plaudits and rightfully so for the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Best known for The Hobbit and The Hobbit Part 2.
Meet the Feebles and The Hobbit Part 3. And I know it wasn't entirely his fault, but it was a cash grab by the studio and company to turn that into a 3-part movie. You know, so there's a bad track record for all of this. I have no confidence in anything right now that they're going to be taking something that doesn't have a story for them to follow and that it's going to be any good or true to the spirit of Tolkien. No faith, no confidence in it whatsoever. And Tolkien is one of those sacred things that for a while has been left relatively unspoiled, and they are at the gates, and it's unfortunate.
I mean, what if they get the Cowboy Bebop team to do it?
No, thank you.
The Cowboy Beep Boop team.
You mean the Cowboy Bebop team from the anime itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't need to be done. Like, this the whole thing. Like, I love the Cowboy Bebop anime, but it's the whole, it's Ian Malcolm. You didn't stop to think about whether or not you should.
Yeah,
and you should.
It goes back to what I said. I think I said it like last podcast episode, which is like, can we just do new shit?
Yes, that's.
Why do we got to keep revisiting the same stuff over and over and over and over and over? Yes, we know Lord of the Rings, that those specific books that have already had a film trilogy, we know those are good books. We know that's good material. If you want to remake those movies, that's one thing. But just adding on to the world that you didn't create, that you just have rights to at this point, like, that's not really helping anyone. There's enough talent to create new worlds and give us new original content and worlds and move things forward, and not just rehashing the same bullshit over and over and over and over and over and over to infinity until we have 97 different Batman movies. We've remade all the Lord of the Rings movies a million times, plus gotten all these extra weird shows and auxiliary projects around the around it. Same with Marvel. Like, can we just do something new for once?
And I guess that's the crux of a lot of what I'm saying. And when I get sort of a loss for words to describe what they're doing, it is that just that rehashing and watering down that is a diminishing returns and a diminishing of the property itself that is so just rife throughout Hollywood. The lack of originality, the all of it. It is unfortunate, and
it goes back. Look,
nothing. Is there nothing sacred?
Can we, like? I'll give you this, because I give you a very hard time about, and I apologize for going too hard sometimes, but I do give you a hard time for being stuck in the past, too nostalgic at times. But I do think we agree that it would be better a lot of times to try new stuff. Give us new worlds or adapt new books that have not been made into film franchises yet, or just find something new rather than rehashing these worlds that we already know and love. Like,
and the other thing, if you're going to trade on that nostalgia, then give me that nostalgia. I have no interest in you fanfic writers out there and your take on something and your take on what Aragorn might have been like. You know, like, but the what if Aragorn was this way? What if Boromir was that way? I do not care. I have zero interest in that. And most of the fans don't either. We don't want to see it. I don't want Rian Johnson to say, hey, what if Luke Skywalker was just an asshole? What is that? All right.
He had a hard life, dude.
No, he didn't.
His dad, he had a deadbeat dad who
I'll grant you he had some issues.
And then tried to kill him.
Yeah.
Like
the ultimate optimist that turned the world, the universe's, the galaxy's greatest villain and saw good in him to be redeemed. But, his nephew had a bad dream, so he decided to kill him. Yeah, that makes sense. Rian Johnson, you hack. I liked Knives Out, though. I call him like I see him.
Yeah, I'm look, man. I troll, I give you a hard time, but ultimately, like, I went off last week about Warner Brothers and the just continual rebooting of Batman, and someone on our YouTube channel commented explaining that this is like an Earth 2 Batman, and we're already in the multiverse, and some bullshit that I don't want to hear about is happening. But like, can we just move forward? Every now and then, can we just move forward? Like, you made your choices. Ben Affleck is Batman. You know what I mean? Like the Lord of the Rings movies that were made, those have been made. Let's move forward at this point.
There was a YouTube commenter about the Lord of the Rings one talking about all the nudity in Lord of the Rings. Like, Frodo wakes up and is nude, and like Gandalf was nude at this point. That alone would call for an intimacy coordinator. No, it wouldn't. Shut the fuck up. Like, the reason why they bring an intimacy coordinator on there is for their damn sex scenes, and they're lewd nudes, not just there's a stark difference between why they would bring an intimacy coordinator on. And first of all, that's not intrinsic to the story or the themes of Lord of the Rings, sir.
Yeah. It's just like, because they need to coordinate like an elf and a dwarf getting it on, right?
Eventually, I'm sure.
I mean, that
will be more awkward, but we do.
That's why you have to coordinate it. It's hard.
We do want to see a human and elf get it on, preferably elf.
No.
No, I mean, we'll get Aragorn and Arwen just hardcore.